Michelle Vesterby is a rising star in the Ironman world. An elite swimmer in her past, she stopped sport altogether for 4 years before starting triathlon aged 24. Aiming for Ironman from the very start, Michelle did 5 full-distance races in her first year, qualifying for the 2012 World Championship, where she finished 12th.
It was a really tough year for me in 2012 because I did my first Ironman. I qualified for Kona, so I did a lot of races to get into the inner circle. And when I was on Hawaii, it was just fantastic. The surrounding, the atmosphere, yeah, everything was new. So of course, just to be in the sport and be a pro, everything was just fantastic there and a good experience.
A good experience with a bumpy start though. Some 100 meters into the Kona swim, Michelle lost her goggles and carried on through the salty water with unprotected eyes. How does she cope in situations like these?
My brother, he was multi-handicapped. He died some years ago. He couldn't walk, he couldn't run, he couldn't talk. So he's my mental power. I think it's important that you have some things you can focus on while you're doing the race. If you only have yourself to do it for, then that's not enough when it hurts that much.
The 29-year-old is a former swimmer, but swimming lanes don't prepare you enough for the sometimes rough water battles in Ironman.
Yeah, you should think that my swimming should be my strongest and where I feel most comfortable, but I always look forward to getting out of the water as well, because everyone wants the right position and the right feet in front of them. You have to find a person that's a little bit stronger than you are and then stay there. And that's also the position the girl next to you wants. So it's always a little bit of a fight. You need to have a good technique. So I think it's good to be a good swimmer for this course as well. It looks like it's a little bit bumpy, but it's actually not that bad. So keep the high frequency and then just push it hard.
The morning before the big day, Haugesund's concert hall hosts a race briefing, this time for both age groupers and pros.
It's definitely a big part of the sport. It is that age groupers and pro athletes are all together. You can see the difference. And in the race, the age groupers are really good at cheering at the pros while we are racing. I not always have the energy to cheer on them as well, but if I can send them a smile, I definitely will do that.
In the afternoon before the race, Michelle watches the Tour de France with husband Klaus. 5 years ago, he was the triathlete. Nowadays, he's Michelle's full-time helping hand, technician and supporter.
I was working on Club La Santa on Lanzarote, and I got introduced to the Ironman there, which I was really fascinated by. So I started doing a little bit, but mostly I was hanging out on the disco in my early days. But when I met Klaus, he was actually doing triathlon, and that was the way I got into the sport, because I told him that I was also a triathlete. I wasn't, so I started because of that excuse.
As Michelle prepares her bags for race day, she explains how she keeps her batteries charged.
The nutrition is really important, especially in a race, in a 17.3 race. But it's also hard in a race like this because your pulse is so high. In an Ironman, it's much easier for me to make sure that I get the right nutrition during the race. But in a 70.3, I really have to know that I need 3 bottles of energy during the bike ride, and it has to be empty when I put the bike.